In this week's episode, we are continuing with the Harvard study of adult development. And we are going to be asking the question, why in 85 years has there been no focus on personal development and healthy relationships when the results clearly show that that is the key to health? So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello, everyone. You're listening to All Cards on the Table podcast with Claire and Sylvia, a show that talks about how men and women aren't so different from each other. We just don't speak the same language. We will dissect every topic and put an end to miscommunication. So, get ready to get uncomfortable. Hi and welcome back. My name's Claire Attio.
Hi everyone, this is Sylvia Jaira.
And as I said, this week we're going to be looking at, I implore you to sit with what we talk about and then to move forward by questioning if you're in the UK, MPs, if you're in the US, your governors, why, when a study that has been conducted over 85 years, we're talking about 8 generations of people, that would have, even if they'd ever had any results for the first 20 years, that would still leave 6 generations of people. Why funding has gone to anti-smoking campaigns, anti-drinking campaigns, diet campaigns, exercise campaigns, and yet very little funding has been put towards personal development and what it is to have a healthy relationship. And those are the things that we're going to be looking at today, because I don't know about you, but I'm really angry about this, because all those other campaigns will all have a commodity. They all have a value to them. There is all a commercial value in that. But actually working with people with personal development, and apart from, coaches getting paid, there is no commodity with it. And healthy relationships, that there is no commodity with that. So why has this been buried? Why has this not been at the forefront? That is my question. And you've done marketing, Sylvia.
Yes. Because of money. I mean, it really just boils down to money, which makes me even more angry inside, because when I'm in the marketing world, we take psychology to be able to manipulate you to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn about color theory, because picking the right colors is going to generate something. That's why McDonald's has yellow, because it makes you hungry. That's why it's red and yellow are the number one colors for food in the food industry, if you've noticed that. So we knew that we couldn't have other colors. You never associate green with food, because obviously that's not going to do well. And even though, for instance, you have Subway, they had to incorporate the yellow in there. Mm-hmm. So yellow is always, it's a big, it goes to that much detail because it's money. It always comes down to how much money and revenue they're going to get out of it. And as we were talking in the other ones, and when we took that pause to continue on, and I was just thinking about the amount of division that goes into social media to separate people. And ever since the separation of people in relationships, we have noticed an increase on medications, mm-hmm. healthcare. We have to fitness to feel better. It's sickening to think about what, like, if I want to be a conspiracy theory, almost like, okay, it's like they're doing it on purpose for money, but we're in 2023, and you know what? It could just be for that.
Yeah. So, well, I'm sat here thinking, because that is a Harvard study, so I'm assuming that was taxpayers' money. That is taxpayers' money that mm-hmm. has, for the past 85 years, been paying for this study to be conducted. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Feel free to in the comments. But I'm assuming that it's taxpayers' money that has been paying for this study to be conducted. And mm-hmm. yet, the one thing that can make us and keep us healthy is the one thing that they have been steering us away from.
And that it's free.
And it's free.
Yeah. Because if we
And
need this,
and
it's
you can call me a conspiracy theorist, as Sylvia said, but I'm sorry, these questions have to be asked. These questions have to be thought about. I'm not telling anybody what to think or what to feel, but
yeah.
as a nurse and as a healer, I think it's appalling that we have been sent down all these rabbit holes that have cost the average Joe in the street thousands upon thousands of pounds in the bid to be healthy, when they know that being healthy, the key factor, let's get this right, because this is what came out from the study, the key factor to health, a healthy, happy life, is relationships. And yet nobody has said that. Nobody has come out and said, okay, we're going to get a program, we're going to teach you how to navigate through any family dysfunction, we're going to teach you how to navigate and become a sovereign person, we're going to teach you to navigate how to be independent rather than codependent, and how to actually look for a partner that also promotes you, that complements you.
Exactly. We don't take those at all. And I think we need to talk about more about that. Why didn't they don't do that? And then I think in school they will not talk about it because they say it's not part of a curriculum, it's not educational, you have to learn that from your family or from your parents.
Oh, don't even get me started. Sorry, Sylvia, don't get me started on that, with what's going on in the schools at the moment with the education, what is going into the curriculum.
Oh, that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about relationships, like they would say it's not part of our curriculum, of course.
And yet sexuality
is. People at home, if that child goes home and they have not a very good relationship with their parents, because their parents didn't learn it's a learned behavior, where is it going to start? So do you know what I mean?
These are the questions we need to ask. These are the questions I'm asking. These are the questions that I ask our listeners to sit, because as Sylvia just rightly said there, relationships is not part of the curriculum. That's a thing for the family, but sexuality is a part of the curriculum. How dare they? How dare they pretend that the curriculum is built around creating happy, healthy individuals, when what they're actually feeding them is very toxic. What they're teaching them is creating ill health, because they are omitting the very things that they know through this study creates good health.
Yeah, and how many times also have they said, oh, we need to have physical education because it promotes endorphins and they make us feel better, and you exercise, you feel good, and when you feel good and you're happy, and so they've told us this, that exercise equals good, happy, healthy, but the study clearly shows that's not true.
Yeah
And which is the biggest endorphins that we can get? When are you the most happiest? And remember when you said, oh, she's in love, she's glowing, and she's happy in a relationship.
Yeah, or when you're with friends and you're having fun
and
you're enjoying life.
Think about it, even if you have like a puppy, how immediately go, oh my god, you level up. Or if you like kids, if you love babies and you see a baby, that raises up. When you are hanging out with your best friend and you're having such a wonderful time, how do you feel in that moment? Does anything ache? Does anything feel bad? Because even for a brief seconds when you're laughing and you're having a good time, nothing hurts. How do you get that? From relationships. So I have a tactic I always tell my kids when they get hurt. It's okay, laugh it off, because it helps with the pain, right?
Yeah.
And some people use laughter to heal themselves when they feel bad. That's why, I mean, think about the comedians. Most of the comedians also use, unfortunately, like Robin Williams, suffer from depression, and he used comedy and laughter to heal himself. But again, it's the relationships. It is having good relationships. But they're not going to tell us that because we're talking with industries that make billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Just like you said, the fitness one, if you exercise and you feel good about yourself, you're going to feel happy. That's a, like, what is it, 26 billion dollar industry. You think they're going to promote, oh, go hang out with your girlfriend because it's going to do the same effect as if you just worked out? No,
Yeah, yeah,
no, it's not.
yeah. And I'm laughing, but actually it's an incredulous laugh. It's not a funny laugh.
No.
It's devastating. And as you said, the comedians, and I was thinking of laughter yoga that has become very popular. Um, but again, is it the laughter yoga, or is it because you are sharing a space
With someone.
with like-minded people that get you, that understand you? You have that interaction, you're building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That is true.
and for me, the biggest relationship that is that relationship with yourself. Once you've got that relationship with yourself, and we've said this in many other episodes, building that relationship with yourself, knowing and understanding what you need, will then allow you to attract the right people into your life. And when you attract the right people into your life, whether they pop in every single day or whether they pop in once every 6 months, you
Yeah.
know that you have those people, you know that you have that network. And so you're always feel comfortable, happy, content, and healthy, even if you're on your own, because you know you have that network.
Exactly. I mean, it's such a cliche when you say, when we used to say that, be yourself and the right people come, just be
Mhm,
who you are and the right people will just show up. It's not, it's real. I mean, as simple and basic as that sounds, it's if
mhm,
you are, like you said, get to know yourself first and what you need to flourish and grow. And then you will also attract those people that
mhm,
want. And think about it when you go into these conventions and you have people that go into conventions like Comic-Con or these medieval conventions that people show up. They're all different types from all over the world, but when they're together, the vibration and the energy and that what goes on in there, those bonds and relationships that they're building make them feel good about themselves.
mhm,
They grow and they flourish. And I want to see, like, I want you guys to think about one thing. When you are in a circle of good friends, how do you feel? If you had a headache, if you had some pain, most of us at our age, something's aching all the time. So think about it next time you're in a group of people and how
mhm.
you feel, or even not even a group next to your favorite person, how good you feel,
Yeah.
and just laughing things up. And then remember when you're surrounded by people you don't care for, you're not totally ecstatic to be around, how maybe a toxic employer or partner, whatever. Remember how all of a sudden you started to have headaches and aches and pains
Mhm.
because of that relationship?
Yeah.
So then you need to just compare that how it actually physically hurts you to not be in in a bad. It hurts you to be in a right relationship, and it heals you to be in the right relationship. So relationships matter. As I was telling you earlier, it's like I was thinking how I physically felt that
Mhm.
when I was telling you about my hormonal imbalances, how I physically can feel myself getting and going into anxiety because I was not able to communicate with my husband something that when I finally when we finally had the aha moment, that anxiety and pain just vanished.
Disappeared.
I physically experienced it and I was aware that this happened. And that's what, to me, when I saw this, uh, this study, I had to tell you, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm experiencing this. And I think there is some truth to this. We need to figure out why.
Mhm.
Now, we talked about it in the other podcast about cultural differences and everything and how those relationships hurt you. And of course, they did a study on families and their kids and kids and kids and stuff like that. But then now we're going like, why aren't we talking about it more? And we need to ask those
Well,
questions.
why aren't the governments? I'm really, because let's be honest, as coaches, it's it's a very sad reality that as coaches, it's only middle to upper class that you can usually afford the privilege of hiring a coach and undergoing that personal development so that they can move into that sovereignty. And yet, this study was paid by government,
Mm-hmm.
which means it was paid by you and I. It was paid by the average person in the street. And it's the average person in the street. It's and I don't like classes, but it's that working class population that need this more than anything. Why is it not being made available to them? Ask yourselves that. And then when you ask yourselves that and you start to feel as incredulous as I do about this, ask your political representative why personal development, family relation dynamics, why these are not being made available to you free of charge so that you can access, so that you're basically accessing good health, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what it equates to, good health. But they'll sell you policies for your healthcare provision.
Yeah.
They'll sell you a dream of doing, going to a gym that you have to pay for, then all the equipment that you need to wear to get healthy, to get these endorphins, as Sylvia quite rightly said, to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That will only last for a short period of time, because then you will go back to not having that functional relationship with yourself or the people around you. So they're giving you and encouraging you to have momentarily good moments whilst promoting ill health, when they know and have known. Let's get this clear. This study has been going on for 85 years. So they have known for at least 65 years that the key to good health is happy relationships. The key to good health is personal development, and to have that autonomy within yourself and to be able to have healthy relationships with another. That is the key to health. And yet they've not promoted that. There is nothing, as we said, in the school curriculum, there is nothing, there are no provisions within our social structures. They'll sell you a health policy, but even in your health policy, where is personal development on that? Where
Mm-hmm.
does it say, okay, you can go to the dentist, you can have your blood tests, you can have your x-rays, you can have your medications, you can have this? Where does it say personal development, personal coaching? No, it will possibly, if you've got a really good policy, cover mental health counseling.
Mm-hmm.
But if you learn how to be fully developed, if you did a personal development program, you wouldn't have mental health issues. You wouldn't need counseling, which it's such an oxymoron for me. It's just, I'm so impassioned, and if I'm honest, there's anger there as well. I'm gonna take ownership of it. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Because of the money, because then they would lose out. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars that because this study was done in dollars, that they would lose the fitness industry, the pharmaceutical industry, especially in the US. And it's no lie that the rest of the world kind of looks into the US as what needs to be done out in, because if we look at, for instance, in Asia, I can't remember which part of Asia, I would think it's Mongolia or somewhere, where they do have really uh, their relationship, their self-awareness and the self-development and their relationships are very healthy. And I'm going to look into that because I remember that I looked into that, and they don't have major health issues like we do here in the West.
No.
And so if we look into that, we need to ask those questions. Why? Well, we know why. We need to push, like you said, our leaders and our
Yeah, we need to lobby them. We need to be writing
we
to them,
need to find
contacting
out
them.
that we need to have this personal development in schools, how to have good relationships, because it is important. And everyone's like, oh, we have these anti-bullying and we have these circle uh, programs where we can have clubs where people do this and people do that, and it's a matter. But nobody talks about how to generate your feelings. I mean, I think there was 2 or 3 schools now, but they're private. Again, only if you have money, you have access to this.
Yeah.
They actually do meditation in their classes.
Hmm.
Meditation, they teach them about personal self-awareness and do a lot of like self-aware programs. Again, private school. But so that we need to have, like you said, for more in the inner city, people that actually need it and help for
Do
the
we?
development.
Well, how much money is being spent? Let's be honest. How much money is being spent on race issues, on gun issues, on domestic violence issues, on, I mean, we could be here all day reeling off the amount of money that is being spent, okay, in the guise that, oh, we're trying to get on top of this problem. And yet there is a study that has been started in 1938. So they have known, and yet they go on and spend all this money trying to sort out the social problems when they've already known that those social problems can be eradicated by putting investment into personal development,
Mm-hmm.
teaching people how to love on themselves and how to be in healthy relationships. And yet it's not done. It's not done.
Yep.
And to me, that is criminal. That is the biggest crime. How many people have got to die? How many kids have got to die? How many people have got to be beaten up? How many racial wars do there have to be? How many religious wars does there have to be? And as you said, it's that segregation. They are separating us, knowing full well that the one thing to help us and maintain us being happy is relationships.
Yeah. So again, we're just bringing you this for your attention so that you can look into it as well. You can Google it. It's a very simple Google search to find the study. Even it can go to harvard.edu to find the study. But even in then, it emphasizes that what really struck out for me is that they know the loneliness is as powerful, like killer as an alcoholism and smoking. So they said that their loneliness is the same as smoking and drinking,
Well,
basically.
it doesn't say it's the same, does it? It says it's
It
because
says loneliness kills. It's as powerful as smoking and alcoholism by Robert Waldiner.
right, okay.
So he
Because
said
I know the one of the parts was actually saying that relationships was more fundamental to health than the whether you smoked
oh
or
yeah,
not
I mean
smoked,
the
whether you,
study,
yeah.
because they studied, like you said, it started in the 30s, and then they studied with the students and then their offsprings and everything, and it was the relationships that was the
Hmm.
key factor on that, and it was a control group and one that just kind of went on by themselves. And to me, it's like the fact, like you said, that they kept this from the public is
Yeah.
the question we all need to ask them. Why did you do that? And also, if it's because of the money that we all believe is the money, or is it something bigger than that? Why the separation? Why are they constantly trying to separate us?
Hmm. Hmm.
Are they purposely sabotaging relationships? And you need to ask those questions for yourself, within your family. Look into your family, your relationships with everyone, because all of a sudden, this whole, you know, I'm not talking to my mother or my father because they were toxic to me.
Oh, don't.
Becomes so big. And I understand there are some certain people that should not be near their parents,
Hmm.
but not at the rate that it's going.
No. Well, I mean that's another podcast in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the amount that it's
The
growing.
this trend
Yeah.
of therapists, and that's what's scary. Therapists
Mhm.
advising people to move away from their families.
Yes.
um and this is actually going on. This is just not coming out of my head. That you can get online, you can look at the statistics. This is both Sylvia and I, these are the fields we work in, and this is actually going on, and it horrifies both Sylvia and I.
Mhm.
um it's when there is a study that has been conducted, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, it's been conducted now for 85 years. It clearly shows that a healthy, happy life, the key factor, the key ingredient that is needed is relationships. And yet we have health provisioners, because that's what counselors are, telling people that are already in a depressive state to move away from families. And yes, Sylvia's right. In some cases, that is necessary. But where is the healing in that? Where
Mhm.
is the longevity of healing? This is about separation, and you need to be asking yourselves, okay, to what end? Why is it beneficial for a organization to have us separated?
Yeah. And also when I said relationships, when we talk about relation or they were talking about relationships, is all relationships. So if you don't have it with your family, your parents, your spouse, your children, you need to have that little tribe of yours, of your own personal selected family, your own personal relationships that help you and that are the same as you and that are looking into the same values that you hold. That's what this is about. It's relationships in general, not stay in your toxic relationship or a domestic abuse relationship. No, no, no. Not saying that savage your relationship with your family, your parents. No. If those are bad for you and you need boundaries to cut them off, of course, you have to do that. But you do need relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Loneliness kills. And that's all we need to know.
Yeah. And as we wrap this up, as Sylvia said, sit with that, look at your relationships, do what is necessary, get the help. If you can't get the help, if you can't afford the help, lobby your council, and say to them, okay, how much is being spent on racial campaigns? How much is being spent on anti-gun campaigns? How much is, I mean, let's go, if we get into America, how much is being spent on pushing forward the fact that taking women's choices away from them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of campaigns, whatever your beliefs are, that you can find one where you can use as leverage so that you can get personal development and healthy relationship coaching onto the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Push. This is your right. This is your right as a human being. Push for it. Don't just sit there and go, well, nothing will change. Because if you sit there and go, oh, nothing will change, nothing will change. We have the power. We are the people with the most feet.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start using them.
Yes, and you build, and like you said, the personal development is so that you can know yourself first of who you are, so that you can get the right relationships and not end up in the wrong relationships, because that's why we have all these bad relationships, is because we don't know who we are
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
how we can express to other people what we want and what makes us happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it from me.
And me. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and please leave a review, as it helps us grow and bridge the gap between the sexes. If you have any topics you would like us to cover, shoot us an email. Until next time, go out and practice putting all your cards on the table with no judgment, expectations, and fear.